Right.
Hi, friends. Welcome back to my Gym Friends podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Joyce.
I'm Liz.
Rhea.
Mel.
Shaya.
And today we are talking about how do you know when you're getting old? So this episode came about because
We're getting old.
Why? How did it come up?
Yeah.
How did it come up?
Yeah, yes, go ahead, cross your legs, Gertie. Come on, Blanche and Gertrude. So we're in the gym 5 a.m. and I'm trying to tell this story. And at first, these two ladies are just nodding. And then finally Mel admits to it. She's like, I can't hear nothing you're saying. And I'm like, huh? She's like, I can't hear you.
It feels like you're whispering. What you trying to do?
So
Whisper.
as the conversation keeps going, she reverts back to the nod, and then she says, huh? I said, oh, yeah, it's on now.
The hearing has been going for a while.
Dang.
All that loud music I've been listening to my whole life, I think, did it.
And I really thought the
Got me.
episode was going to come about from one of us being in a squat and not being able to get up or something.
It's not the knees, it's the damn ears.
The ears.
So what about you, Liz? How do you feel like you're getting old? Because you're the baby of the group.
You are.
When I was at the gym, it was like happened like 3 months apart from each other where I did a burpee, got up, couldn't stand up. I was like, my back. And then it like got better. And then I was doing, I don't know what they're called, but you know, on a Bosu ball, the side to side.
Oh,
And
yes.
hip
the
dips?
plyo lunge.
The jump.
Yes, and it did
Oh,
it
it's a
again.
jump.
And I
Wait,
was
we
like
done said
3 months
5 things.
apart.
Which is
The
it?
plyo lunge, like the off the Bosu,
Yeah.
side to side, like the shuffle.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know.
But it happened like 3 months apart from each other. My back,
Your back.
my neck, my back. It was all kinds of crazy.
So back, neck, yeah, that you
Yeah.
know.
Neck, my back.
Mine is
my
the eyes,
back.
eyes and knees.
I
Eyes
had
and
20/20 great vision at some point, and the shit just started going away.
Man, let me just tell you,
Just recently, I'd never seen you with glasses
It's
until
bad.
now.
Me too.
it really
Yeah.
was.
Shit is blurry.
It's so
Yes.
bad. And let me just tell you, I don't regularly wear glasses. And you know it's bad when I don't want to wear the glasses and I be in here like this. This shit
Yes.
is so fun. This shit
But
is
can you even
I'm
see
squinting. Listen, I be making it out. Like I mean, I'm making it out.
Yeah.
But can
Barely,
I can
yeah.
see
So
so
it's
much
far.
better this way. And
It's
what I'm
everything.
refusing to do is I will not be making my font big. You will not be able
My
to
phone
read
My phone.
my
is big.
phone from across the hall.
Well,
It's
her
just not
print-
gonna happen.
Her
Just gonna
printout
say that.
font is a little big.
Just
Yeah,
bold.
listen,
That is on a 35. A
this is
32.
AARP certified. You
That's
are
how you
welcome. You are welcome. AARP approved
You
You
this.
have
30
enlarged
points.
that, ma'am. You could have said you weren't doing it.
I was doing it to AARP standards. I think also for me an indicator is, you know, like when we're out with the kids and then, you know, like you want to like say something or dance and then they all go in like chorus. No! Or whoa! Don't do that. Or like, Mom!
Like, oh no.
The universal gasp.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh.
like they're cringing, like they're about to die because we've just done something. I'm like, oh, okay, this may be
We're not
it.
cool.
This
We're old.
may.
Well, that's where my daughter was saying, weren't you born in the 1900s? I'm like, ma'am,
And then you're like, wait.
you're
yes.
right.
Yeah,
That
like,
sounds
oh,
old as
That
hell.
was
And
yesterday.
now we've been joking about it, but when she first said it, it took me aback.
Yeah.
Like,
She
what?
said, back.
Yeah.
What?
She's like, I was clutching my mama's pearls.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
what?
What? Yeah, but what?
Yeah.
My gosh.
That's
Well, menopause creeped up on me at 37, and it made me freak the hell out because I wasn't sure, was I pregnant?
yeah.
What was happening?
Oh my gosh.
Things weren't happening that were supposed to be happening every month. Like, what? Newly divorced,
Mm,
freaked the hell out.
your body did.
I freaked out when my body did that. Like, where did this
This
come
never
never
came
from?
came
back.
back too, right? I mean, I don't know what
Yeah,
the timing.
I'm approaching, so I'm
You are, because I'll just
Harry
follow you
menopause?
because you older. So
Yeah,
I'm assuming that they're going
when
to
it
I
hits
don't know
me,
the
you're
difference.
next.
I'm gonna go hit
Yeah,
you
so
first.
I'm making my way.
Well,
there.
depending on your cortisol
Yeah, that's
levels,
true, too.
it can be triggered. I have been, I mean, I'm out of menopause now, and I'm not old enough to be out of menopause, but mine triggered after getting Asher's diagnosis of autism, and then we were in surgery with Taryn at only 90 days old. So my body just shut it there, and I in the middle of all that, I'm sweating. I'm going through, like, I think if there was ever a time I was going to become a mass murderer, it kind of has now gone. I'm not going to be that anymore. But it was the culmination, the pressure of all of that, and then I think my marriage was under a ton of pressure at that time too. So I think my body just went way into it, and I was so young that it was so hard to talk the doctors, like to make the doctors even hear me. That look, something's wrong. I'm sweating. I can't sleep. I'm anxious. My nerves are all over the place. Like, I couldn't hold myself together to even pull myself together. And I'm not a crier, because number 8 of 9 kids, if you cry, you get your ass whooped even more. That's when they know they hit the button. So you're just like, don't let them see this. And the other thing that I thought was really weird about menopause is that there are foot doctors, podiatrists, there are ear, nose, and throat doctors. There's doctors just for your digestive system, but there is not a doctor that's just for menopause.
Right.
And to me, it's so elusive, right? Like, it's, you have to test to find out where your levels are and what, like, your symptoms are, while we share some symptoms, but how they hit you is very unique to you. To me, you're talking about a practice or a study. Like, we don't have a whole doctor for that.
We should. Yeah, I had one doctor that finally said, yeah, you're in perimenopause, and my gynecologist who said, no way, you're too young, absolutely not. Then ran tests and called me and said, I was wrong, I've never seen this before. I told you. The one doctor did a lot of tests and gave me the idea, because I never would have thought of that on my own, but after looking at some things, said, you are. That's why I went to him, and then he was like, psh, girl. I'm like, no, keep looking.
Check again.
Do some more. Do more tests.
So they can test if you're going
Oh,
to
yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
I thought you just knew you were doing it.
I knew I had all these things happening. I didn't know what it was.
But I think she was young too, so they had to make sure there was
Like,
nothing else
textbook
going
is like
on.
older, like
Yeah.
But they don't
Textbook.
even.
Yeah, you're not.
But they don't
age.
even necessarily run those. Like,
Right.
they say
Yes.
it's like frivolous, or they say it's holistic
Unnecessary.
care, or
Right.
that you're.
Well, and I had one doctor too who would not give me any medication because there's no studies, because I was so young at the time, that the longevity of being on some of those medications hadn't been looked at before.
Right.
So typically you're looking at them in your 50s and 60s. I was 37, and so that she said, no, I'm not giving them to you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thanks for nothing. Moving on to someone else who will
Yeah.
do something that's right for me.
Or
and
they
found
do.
someone.
They'll suggest mental health.
Right.
Was another thing that I felt really disrespected about, because I'm telling them of my symptoms, and they were like, well, maybe we'll give you some Paxil, or we'll give you, and I was like, none of those things are what I'm saying to you. Yes,
You're
I
trying to
have some
prove
things that are
crazy.
happening,
right.
but I know that I'm having sweats, like, in the middle of nowhere. I know that I got little beads of sweat, and it's freezing outside. Like, I know. Oh, look at her face.
I'm terrified.
You
An
can't.
internal fire comes
Yes.
across you, and you can't get cool enough,
Mine
fast
were
enough.
night
Yeah.
sweats.
Oh my god.
Or you're just like,
I don't want.
I could listen to people talk. I'm a talker. I can listen. I can sit and hear. I had no patience for no one.
Oh yes.
None. I was like,
Yes.
leave his fucking ass. What's the problem? Or like, like,
Yeah.
Snap.
That's
I mean,
snap.
you guys have seen the TikTok when he's doing the math. Little Johnny has tried. Like
Right.
we
Just like
started
that.
out like that. They'd open their homework and they'd be like this.
Same.
Like,
Yes.
I had zero. Like I don't even know that I really laughed too much at that time. There was
How
a
long
lot of
does
crying.
menopause?
Years.
It does.
What?
It does last for years. I'm gonna tell you that what finally did it. I think I was 37, 36 or 37, and my period absolutely stopped. I had already been going through the perimenopause that during that time. So it wasn't until my period actually stopped, and I was like, I don't even have a period. Like y'all got to do something. I don't have a period because you know we're still having these dialogue, and I was like, you guys, we have to do something. But also, the anxiety kicked in for me, and I mean, I think I thought about what people had to say, but anxiety and paranoia. So I started playing like Game of Thrones. So and so is gonna get me, so I'm gonna move this and move this. And again, of course, I think if I wouldn't have gotten diagnosed, I think I would have lent into, go ahead and give me some damn Paxil because something got it. I know I'm going crazy.
Yeah.
And where my frustration, going back to the fact that we don't have doctors that that specialize in this, there are women who are not being treated and given just given the thought.
Yeah.
I think that's the word I'm looking for. Like just that you think enough.
Validation.
Yeah, that I think enough about you and this practice of women's health that I want to specialize in this to make sure that women are getting the care that they need and not just automatically you're having a mental health episode. Right. That gaslighting with our bodies or with our health to me is just not okay. On top of recognizing that we're the leaders in our household, like we're shaping minds, we're shaping individuals. You know, there are times where I see fear in my kids now, having, you know, gotten all of my hormones in check and all of this stuff, having a conversation about something, and I can see that the first time we broached this, I was not in a good spot, because you can see the fear or the apprehension in their face. They're like, oh shit, this is not going to go good. And once we have it, they're like, yeah, man, I thought it was going to be something totally different. The first time it was like, you did this. But also, I think broaching it, me and Mel going through it so early, but also having the dialogue so that women have the dialogue more. And it's so much more than just the sweats.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
You know, it affects every single thing. Not that you need it more, but my sex drive went through the roof. Like I was just like, hello everybody, hi, how are you? Come here, I love you, but I hate you. So only come for a little bit, and then you can go back over there. I'm sure my husband was like, I wanted to give you what you want, but I don't know if I want to lay next to you after we're finished, because you know what I mean?
I'm sweating over here.
We'll try having that sex drive and being single. That was not fun.
Oh, we all said, oh.
See, I thought it went down.
No.
It depends on the person.
Well, yeah.
It's a roller coaster.
For me, it was ridiculous.
It's a roller coaster.
It really was. I needed every bit of everything I got to even this out. And we went to one doctor, and she was like, my cortisol and some of my levels were so out of whack that if I would have gotten tested, they would have started looking at like an autoimmune disorder, because I had white knuckled it and kept talking to and asking for help and asking for help, that the other chemicals in your body try to help you fight it. My cortisol was through the roof. She was like, I called Mel leaving, and I was like, she said that they would have, if she would have saw this and not known all the factors, she would have definitely started me on something else.
She was the first person that gave me like, this is normal, and I was a ball of tears for nothing, just looking at like for everything. Like I was a mess, and she's like, this is why your testosterone is like non-existent. You can't even like function. So thankfully for someone like her, she was like, this is normal.
She's still out here.
Yes.
When that time
Yes.
Oh
She's
yes,
amazing.
and she's amazing. This sister is
Shout her out.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing is that I think that the balancing of it, I think my weight started to like even out, and I was in a mode where I could gain like a lot of weight, and then if I really focused in, I could maybe lose half of it, where when I was younger, when I was little, I could gain and lose weight so much easier, right?
Right.
Menopause hits, it was like gaining and then gaining and then gaining and then gaining, and there was no losing it. You just and then you think, I mean, and I don't know if I'm just a vain individual, but I was already like on a roller coaster emotionally. That depression was something totally different, where you don't even recognize who you're looking at. You're like, who are you? I mean, I don't care what nobody says. I know, like, if my whole life, I don't care if somebody says, oh, you looking kind of stout, whatever. I still had that. I started getting like an apple belly, where I was like, what in the hell is happening? And then what does that create? More isolation, because what friends want to be around you when you're like, ha ha ha, bitch, what you looking at? You're like, what?
You gonna make me cry?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's just important that women talk about it. I think, my mom probably had no clue really what to expect or what was happening to her own body. I remember her dealing with hot flashes and all of that, but probably, and obviously the emotional stuff, but I think she didn't really know what that was. So I didn't really know what to expect. But as I've gone through it, I've talked to friends like, hold on, that's normal. This doctor told me that's normal, and sharing of that with other friends too that are like, okay. And you just feel like, okay, a little bit of like a breath that you can take to just go, okay, let me go figure this out, but know that you're not alone. You're not crazy. This isn't just you. That there's some solutions to it, hopefully.
But I think also as women, when we get older, it's more, again, this thing that we kind of like get fed, right? My grandparents, I just remember them always being older, so there was not this pretense about getting older. My mom was older when I got here. She just did it, you know what I mean? So there was like not a, and it was graceful, and she was still beautiful, and it was just like, my sisters who are 20 years older than me, they just did it. They did it gracefully. There was not a lot of conversation about getting older.
Right.
Almost like it's like you don't talk about your period, and you don't talk about sex, and you don't talk about getting older. So for sure menopause was not on the table. Right. So how do you even know? You don't. I guarantee you, if I broach it now with any of my older family, I think they would be so relieved to be like, girl, yes, and let me tell you.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's what we really want to encourage. And if you haven't, you should.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially with those that are older in your family, because that chemically you guys are probably have the same makeup with the DNA, and they may have some more similarities versus just walking through it in the dark. And forget about, is that polite conversation or not? It's a health conversation.
Yeah.
Because this is not, menopause is not meant to offend anybody. It's offensive to our bodies, but I feel like when we start like dissecting these things, like, oh, this is just not a proper conversation. Well, I can only tell you again, I really was, I joke, but I don't think that, and I don't take it lightly, but it was probably, I can tell you, I thought about suicide twice in my life. And once was early on when my mom passed away. And then when I got Asher's diagnosis, and like I told you, it coincided with me starting menopause. I just thought, I don't want to be here, and I don't want my son to be here in a world that treats people with disabilities so poorly. And he's a little black boy. There was no rational, there was nothing I could grab onto, whereas I don't think that there's anybody who can say ever thought like, well, I could just end it. You know, everyone typically, you know, you have those thoughts and then they leave, right? Mm-hmm. This one, me and Ashley took a ride, and we sat in that car, and I had to really, it was really hard, and I know that me having all those conversations with doctor after doctor after doctor after doctor, and them like, oh, you know, there's something wrong with you mentally. Mm-hmm. You know, no, there's something wrong with me emotionally. There's something wrong with me chemically that's making my emotions do these things. Yes. I'm not just going through it, and not that there's anything wrong with that. There probably has been a time where you should have handed me 12 packs of the Paxil. Right. But this just didn't happen to be that time. Right.
Yeah.
And if somebody could have just come and had a medical conversation, right, with me, that would have also changed some things. Part of what I got was also my knees hurt so bad, and my joints hurt so bad due to menopause. Once I started to get my hormones back in balance, I started to be able to handle my knees and my joints. Migraines came, digestive issues were terrible.
Can't you wait? Are you so excited?
So excited to get old. So excited.
One of the things that, again, I felt more comfortable about was after being in the gym and making friends, was when I did need the help, even though I would say, hey, where's the AARP modification? There was no shame. And I think that's another thing that, while having the dialogue, and I think the dialogue is meaningful because we're able to ask for resources and help, or also know that there is no judgment. Right. You know, and I think as women, when we have the dialogue, I think also, like, when somebody says, well, how old are you? You know, I still am like 51. But the truth is that, you know, we look good.
Yes.
And more importantly, we feel good. I don't feel my age. And I don't know what that should feel like. I feel like even that's an imagination. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or something that
societal expectation of what it's supposed to look like.
Yeah.
Or stars that have work done, and there's no judgment on them, but it does for those. I haven't had anything done. I feel like I look older than some people who have had work done, and not just stars. You know, anybody who has. There is societal expectations of what. I don't really tend to follow those, but I feel like my makeup needs to be a little bit better or a little bit more sometimes than others. You know, just to kind of keep up. So that's certainly out there. Yeah. Of how you're supposed to look or feel or walk or talk.
Or even on the flip side, like you can look so good and then you still be like, well, you shouldn't wear that because it's a woman your age, or you shouldn't do this because you're a woman your age. And you're like, how do you balance it? Like, you want me to be younger or stay looking younger, but then I can't so it's like having it both ways is also different, I think. You know what I mean? But I also feel like there's part of me, there's some ways that I feel better than ever before. You know what I mean? Like, you look so good to me. Like, you hit something in the last, 18 months where, like, I was like, there was a lowercase C, and now she got an uppercase C. Her booty is like a full C.
Like, Stairmaster.
I'll tell you what, like, it's everything has, like, it's like tight. Like, I'm like, okay, Jared.
It's the Stairmaster. It is in a lot of RDLs.
Don't tell
me
a
lot of those.
Listen, that line did like this. She got this thing right here. I'm like, okay, all right.
I started to get scared because 50 is creeping up on me.
Oh, you scared of 50?
Yeah.
Come on, over here, Cletus.
I hit the panic button. I was like, oh, Lord.
Come on,
I was like, panic mode. But it was also, I was stuck in perimenopause, but also depression, and I was on an antidepressant, and I was on it for 2.5, almost 3 years, and that caused me to gain 20 pounds. And I don't know if you probably, because Liz is so sweet, she probably wouldn't say anything or notice, but when we were at the previous gym, that 20 pounds happened in about 6 months.
At the end.
At the end. And I
'Cause you
started
were like
wearing,
this.
I started covering up, like wearing sweatshirts because
Yeah.
I felt like I'm the trainer. Like I can't look like this.
Yeah.
I did make a post publicly
Yes,
that
I
said, I am going to gain some weight, you guys, but if I don't have this, I'm not going to be here.
Yeah.
So that changed everything too. So when I stopped taking that, my body did change.
Let me ask you, do you think that I mean, I know that there's significant life happenings during that time, but do you think it has coincided at all with perimenopause?
Absolutely. It was like two
Bam, bam.
twisters colliding like
Yeah.
at the same time. It was like
Yeah.
So the
And now what?
antidepressant caused the weight gain.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And then coming off of it, you're able to.
yes,
Okay.
your body
It
kind of
fell off.
settles back into
Gotcha.
peace,
Mm-hmm.
so to speak.
Yeah.
And that was scary because that's not my norm. Like, and like I said, when you're a trainer, you start to feel self-conscious. Like you're selling the product, but you gotta look a certain way. That's also fiction.
Mhm.
Side note,
Yeah.
but whatever. That's a topic for another day. But I do think between the depression and the hormonal changes, that was a
Yeah.
lot. There was a
Yeah.
lot happening. Now that I'm sitting in it and I'm in a better mental state, I function differently.
Yeah.
Even my workouts are different for me personally.
Yeah.
And so that changes things
Well,
too.
I think your workouts, period, are very different now, especially kind of doing a couple weeks without you, and then working out with other people. I think designing workouts for women,
Mm-hmm.
with women in mind,
Mm-hmm.
but also women of our age in mind. I think that's the art. I don't think that that's just done. I think it and you really see it. It's kind of haphazardly put together or very generically put together. And then let me hand you more weight is the one that I'm like, look, I got 2 50-pound ass cheeks. I don't need you to hand me another.
Number weight.
Yeah, don't hand me another plate.
Yeah.
No, thank you. I'm good. So I think that designing it is again. I think most things around women have to be very thoughtful.
Yes.
For so long, it was always for men, and women just did them.
Yes.
Right. So now I think we're coming into an age where there are designed things specifically for us, and it should be if we want it. There's some people that are perfectly happy doing the weight that a guy does or more.
Right.
That's cool for them too. I just need something because I'm getting older and I
Yes.
feel it, and I can't hear what you're saying.
Look, Mel,
Show me.
I
You have
didn't.
to demonstrate.
I didn't hear
Cue
you say
cards.
pick up more
Right,
weight. I
cue
didn't hear
cards.
that.
But then I can't see the shit. I don't have my
Right.
glasses on.
That
I'm
part.
so that's not gonna work.
That part.
Yeah.
It is a different world for us, but I also think I've slowly understood that, like being younger and thinking everybody should be able to do that.
Right.
It's a mindset as you get older to see other people with different
Yeah.
abilities.
But also be thoughtful enough of I can remember one time you said I can see something to the effect of I can see you're trying not to hurt yourself. Like and the thought of I want her back here tomorrow more than I want her to carry this weight for this 30 seconds
Right.
is also a thing that I think that people don't think about. Like we were talking about the TikTok dances. Like we could do the TikTok dance.
Oh.
I can remember being able to pop it back up and hold it and drop it again. I choose not to give you that. That's my choice
Yeah, let's
because
not
TikTok
show
is
that.
not sponsoring me right now. But kind of slowly having those things, or like when you, like I'm flying down the stairs and you're like, oh, okay. When you do the
Two-step. I mean, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2. Like a baby, yes, a dance down the steps.
You're like,
Yeah.
just having to catch yourself more and more.
Yep.
I think to circle back around, those are to me, it seems like you're thinking more thoughtfully about building those muscles
Yes.
that are going to sustain us versus let me see if this is going to pop out or, make a line or do whatever. Like this is about me getting in and out the car. This is about me,
Getting out the bed.
Well,
Let's try that.
Sustainability. It has nothing to do. I'm not going to accomplish anything as a trainer with a woman that is in menopause trying to carry 5 times the weight she should be carrying, because I acknowledge there's shifts in the body hormonally. We talked about cortisol levels. We talked about joints. What am I proving at that point?
Yeah.
When you're in a space with me, I want you to feel stronger and capable and able.
Yes.
Why am I going to push you to a point where you're not able to complete it? That's not the goal. And again, we talked about getting older, and when you're in a group setting, everybody's not the same age, but I can pick out, I know where everybody's at, and I'm going to meet you where you're at, and we're not all going to be at the same point.
Well, and I'm so glad you said that, because I think so many other trainers don't get that. I think there are some that may be younger, or in my experience have been just in their experience is this, and that's all they know, right?
Yes.
And so they're assuming I have these goals of becoming this, I don't know, bodybuilder. That's not my goal.
Right.
My goal is to keep going and keep moving. And I want to have a little bit of muscle, but that's usually the byproduct of something, not my goal.
Right.
Like, oh, cool, I got this tricep thing
Yeah.
here. But not really the goal that I'm trying to set. And so somebody said that to me the other day, like, don't you want to progress? No, I want to keep going. I want to keep moving. I don't necessarily need to see those gains that I maybe wanted 10 years ago, 15 years ago. You got to know the goals of the person in front of you, not just 1 or 2 people, and then now the whole class, that's their goal.
Right. Yeah.
But I think that goes back to, I think most things that are shaped around women have to be more thoughtful.
Yes.
We are very complex.
Yes.
And I think that we have enough power purchasing, financially, presence, all of those things, numbers, for things to now start to be shaped more around us as well.
Yeah.
I would really hope that this is something that we can start to move towards, because I'll tell you what, I have to keep going.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like I got a kid, I got kids, but I got one that needs me to be around, and my goal is to still be moving like this 10 years from now, 15 years from now, so that, he's safe.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like we're able to show up, and then show up for you guys. There are times that during menopause, I couldn't get out of bed.
Yeah.
And and my kids can snap into it. If I'm in the bed, they're like, do you want coffee? Do you want something to drink? You want anything?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh.
Mine comes
I'm
in with
there.
a plate of food.
Yeah, they know.
Yeah.
Like they click in, and I don't want that for them. You know what I mean? I really, really don't.
Yeah.
And I think that that's why, to me, it's really important that we start having the conversation as women and start voicing those things, because we want. They're physicians. They still have to. We're still their clients.
Right.
You know what I mean? When we go to a gym, we're a large portion of your clientele.
Yeah.
If they're designing clothes to fit us, how come they can't design our healthcare for us? That doesn't make sense to me. How come we can't age and have things that are aiding us in a way that enhance our lives, and we don't have to talk people into the fact that both me and Mel have the same story about having to talk our physicians into.
Until we found the right physician.
Yeah.
And to advocate. You got to advocate for yourselves, ladies.
It's crazy
Always.
though, right?
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
Friend check-in.
Yes,
Oh.
girl.
Is it me?
It's Sharice.
It's me. All right. Well, on the topic of getting older, I'm going to throw this in here before I get to the update on Jets Championship. I had the pleasure of watching baby Zane. Our good friend Brianna has a little baby boy, little chunky man. He's only 15 months, and I will say, I was humbled. Having said that, we need to keep encouraging each other to work out, because chasing that little man around made me think, if I'm blessed enough in the next 4 or 5, if you ask my daughter 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years to have grandkids, I got to get it together. I got to stay right,
be able
because
to pick them up.
Yes, because that was a lot. The playground was overwhelming, and I feel like I'm in pretty good shape, but woof, That was a lot. So that was just my little tidbit on the getting older.
Your grandma preview.
Yes, my grandma preview. You should all try it. Well, not you, Liz. Not you.
We
You
can
can
start
try it.
Starting over
with
preview.
him.
We're all gonna start over with
Yes.
Liz. Now the update. All right, so Jet, Bishop Gorman football state champs once again. 69-7, I believe the final score was.
That's crazy.
And I will also say this:
Smackdown.
my mom mode has kicked in. My daughters went to Faith Lutheran High School. If you're from the Las Vegas area, you know that Bishop Gorman is hated on. But I will not sit here and let anybody hate on those boys. And yes, everyone says they have access to this, they have access to that. But let me tell you, the hard work that those boys put in, you will not minimize that up in here.
Right.
Yeah.
So you can say they have weight room, they have buses, but they have work ethic.
Right.
They have coaches that are committed to that program 12 months a year.
You still got to deliver.
You got to deliver. You can I can give you all the tools, but if you don't use them.
Yeah. Don't show
So
up.
yes, those young men deserve that championship. So for everybody sitting here saying, oh, Gorman shouldn't even be in this league, that's not the case. They have been beaten, by the way. Liberty High School has come through in the last decade or so and beat Bishop Gorman. So don't do that.
Not you,
It's hard work
decade, girl.
and
Decade, girl.
commitment.
Yes.
That the last
Hella long
decade,
time ago.
the decades, but again, shout out to Bishop Gorman football.
Yeah.
We got another one that
Killed
is
it.
Jet's third football championship.
There you go.
He has one state for basketball as well. So,
Mm-hmm.
and now basketball season's starting. So let's go.
Yep.
Get another
Yeah.
one.
Game time.
Yes, yes. Let's go,
At least
ladies.
you said indoor sports.
Indoor sports, y'all in now. Indoor sports, because we
Indoor
went from
sports.
hot as hell at football to freezing
I don't
in
mind
a
that.
week.
It's freezing. I can't do
Oh, it was rough.
Cold.
Football season, you go from 112 to 34. You're like,
Uh,
huh?
you know, if you do got to throw down at it, I do prefer basketball.
Yeah, indoor sports.
Yeah,
are my
I
jam.
do prefer a gym
Football
than the
stadiums,
football
yeah.
stadium.
Yeah.
Indoors.
Indoor stadiums are good.
Because just in case you have to grab one of the moms.
you gotta drag 'em.
I mean, it's so much easier because she's so nice. I mean, and I'll do it and dip out. They won't never know. They were like, she could be like, I don't know who that was.
Never seen him
Never
before
seen
in
him
my
before in my life.
I have had my moments, but that's another show.
That's where your girls come in.
Yes. Thank you,
Pull you
ladies.
by the sweatshirt.
Yep.
Oh goodness, ladies, we sure hope that something that we said inspired you. Just remember that you're never alone. We're always here. We're your friends. So until next time, we'll see you soon.